Hello again, EDU 510 peeps. This is my short little video on the methodology video assignment, just to give you some basic ideas about its completion. So before you even start to think about making the video, a couple of things that you should do. First of all, sign out a methodology if you haven't already done so from the sign out section on eClass. We'd like to have 2 people at the most for each methodology, and that might mean that you sign up for one that you don't prefer. Surprisingly enough, that can be quite productive to do one that you're not actually planning on using, because you will end up comparing it in your head to one maybe that you are. So once that section opens up, sign up your methodology, and then don't worry if it's one that you actually think you're going to use or not. Read the description and rubric for the assignment that's attached in the Dropbox. So if you go to the assignment Dropbox, you'll see a document there loaded with the rubric as well. Read that carefully before you even start. And then start doing a little bit of research. And so that we've helped you a little bit on this by putting some videos in the additional recommended readings and videos section on eClass. That's at the very bottom. And you'll see that there's videos on pretty much each methodology there that you might want to watch. And then you probably should do a little bit of academic reading on it. So you go to the library, look a little bit about those methodologies, try to find something short, to the point, not too complicated, that you could read to put a little bit more depth into your understanding of that methodology and how it's used. Your textbook may have some information about that methodology, or it may not. And then once you're finished that, you're ready to actually make your video. Your video should be 10 to 15 minutes at the most. I know I use ScreenPal, and ScreenPal is a maximum of 15 minutes, and that keeps me disciplined, and so that's always a good thing. It needs to be a universally viewable link or post, and so I always take whatever I use to make the video and I upload it to YouTube. I find YouTube is very universally viewable by people. Although there's different options there, of course, and you might know better than me. YouTube you can also make private, of course, although you won't be able to make it private in this case because, of course, you want your classmates to be able to view it. Although there is an option if you go in there, which is the one I do, where I make the YouTube videos private except for people with U Alberta email addresses. And sometimes that poses a problem because if you're signed in with your school email instead of the U Alberta one, they become not as viewable. But I think most of you have gotten the hang of signing in with your U Alberta email in order to be able to view the YouTube videos I post anyways. So what should this video include? It should include an overview of the methodology, how it is typically seen, its philosophical underpinnings, and that might be a little bit more thinking for you. So for example, if it's action research, does that come from a certain tradition of thought? The answer is yes, it does. Look back on how it was developed and why it was developed, and that might give you some clues. And then how useful would it be if you used it as a basis for your research project, even if you never would, even if you're not going to. So let's say your supervisor told you had to use action research for your project, for example, even though you didn't want to. How would that work? What affordances would that give you? What are the good things about how that particular methodology would help you find out things? And what are the constraints? What are the things that might not work very well if you use that methodology? So it doesn't matter if it's the one you're eventually going to use or not. And then a reference list at the end in APA format, of course. Just a couple of logistics. First of all, you're probably going to use some kind of video maker like I am here. This one's called ScreenPal, formerly known as Screencast-O-Matic. I've also used Loom, and I've used Zoom, and I've used other video making software. You use whatever you feel that you are comfortable with. You don't have to have a talking head like I do. You don't have to have slides like I do. It's kind of up to you what you want your video to look like. So you can even record directly up to YouTube, even like on your phone if you download the app. I've done that. So there's all kinds of options. So here's some options of some things that I've done, but I'm sure you have lots of ideas yourself after going through that pandemic. You don't have to edit your video. In fact, normally what I do is if I really screw up, I'll just start again. But if you have a little, glitch or something, don't worry. I'll understand that. Just keep going, and that's not a problem at all. You don't have to make a fancy edited version or anything. Any other formatting at your discretion. So what else you want to do as part of your video, if you want to be creative and, I don't know, do a play or something. No, you don't have to do that. But if you want to do something else, you're certainly free to do that. Any pictures or photos that you use need copyright permissions. When I use Google Photos, for example, I go to the permissions section and I make sure that I have a photo or a picture that has permission for educational purposes, and then I just put the URL, sometimes in tiny little letters, but URL underneath the photo or the picture so that it's kind of legal. And you might notice that sometimes I neglect to do that, but most of the time I do that, or I try to do that. And if I don't do it, I should do it. And you should do it on your assignment. And a reference list at the end. All the things you use, videos, textbooks, readings, etc. in APA style. You don't have to have 25. I mean, if you have the 2 videos and 1 or 2 readings, that's just fine. And you don't have to even read the whole readings. If it's a reading about a whole bunch of different methodologies and you're just using 1 paragraph, that's just fine. Just cite it, the whole article, as an APA article, and that's just fine. You don't have, this is not a research project. It's just for you to get enough information to talk reasonably about the topic.